Section86.com. We're changing the world of podcasting one show at a time.
86 Productions.
Take what you wanna take. Don't leave me here. Lasting leap years ever. Your fear of the one and only love.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of Off the Mark, the best podcast providing the most in-depth insight and analysis into the world of professional wrestling. On today's show, we have Aaron, Roger, and Doug to join Andrew as we discuss the NXT TakeOver Phoenix. All right, so we just got back from the show, and of course, it started off with the War Raiders versus Undisputed Era. I was very happy with the way this match turned out. It was just a great spot fest, and so Aaron, what'd you think about the quality of the match, and was it that good?
Yeah, I thought the match was absolutely excellent. They had a really great intro when the War Raiders came out. They had, I guess, kind of like some Spartans come out, with Vikings. Yeah, more to come out with their shields and everything. And at that point in time, I know Roger had looked at me. He kind of felt like maybe, I think I know who's winning this one. But it's still, there were a lot of great spots, and there was a lot of believable spots. There's great false finishes. There was a lot of really good stuff that was going on in that match. And I got to say, it wasn't match of the night, but this is one of those where you see it, you go, this is the best tag match we'll probably see all weekend. This is probably going to be the best tag match we've seen the next, couple of months, most likely. Undisputed Era, what they're able to do in the ring is excellent. I really hope that they stay together for a long time. And I think that this is only a minor hiccup in the road. We'll probably see them with the tag titles again at some point in time. But congratulations to the War Raiders. I think they could have a nice, lengthy run with the titles. So it just kind of remains to be seen what they will do.
This was an awesome entrance. This was an awesome starter for the pay-per-view, and just TakeOver in general. I think got off to a good foot with this match. Both teams did excellent. A lot of false finishes and leading to a great match. And with the War Raiders coming out, and I mean, it was just amazing. It was truly hard to determine who was the heels, I guess, of this match, because there was just everybody was chanting for everybody. So I love this match. Great way to get pumped up for the pay-per-view, and really got the energy flowing throughout the arena.
Yeah, if there's one thing NXT understands how to do, it's proper pacing on a card. And starting with Undisputed Era and War Raiders was fantastic. I actually thought the Era would win just because I thought there's more face teams for them to feud with than maybe the heel teams for War Raiders. The match was fantastic. There was at least 3 times I thought the match was over. It was really good. I appreciate how good Roddy is. Kyle O'Reilly's fantastic. I mean, his in-ring charisma is just off the charts. War Raiders are ridiculously athletic for how big they were. So great choice for an opener. It was very, very good.
But yeah, I was actually very happy with that match overall. Just a great opener.
Only thing that would bother me is, can we stop throwing people into people? Like, maybe stop using humans as crash test dummies. That's all I'm saying.
Were you thinking of lawn darts with Ray?
I mean, at this point, I think every single one of them got thrown. Maybe not the biggest of the War Raider, because I don't know how you throw him. But I know O'Reilly and Strong got thrown. I'm pretty sure Hansen got thrown, too. I think he's a smaller one.
Yeah. Next, we have the next match of the night was Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno. Of course, it was for what it needed to be, right, Roger?
Can you really have Cassius Ohno lose 3 times in a row? Yes, you can. Mm-hmm. This match is exactly what it was, which is to put over Riddle. I thought the finish was very smart. He won via tap out to strikes, which is not something you see very often in wrestling. It was a good match. It showcased a lot of spots. I thought Ohno looked great. I thought he looked really, really good. I even enjoyed his attire. But yeah, this was no longer the king of bros. He's now the original bro. It was a good showcase match for him.
I'm just going to say that Cassius is still my hero. Despite the fact that he literally put his Matt Riddle's foot in his mouth
And bit it.
I mean, that luckily that their backs were to us when that happened, but I still, what makes you want to take that spot or even think of doing that spot? This match was what it was supposed to be, and good God.
I looked up at the Titantron and I saw what happened. I was like, oh.
Were you like, oh no?
Yeah. Well, at first I was like, oh no. Gosh, yes. Yeah, no, I agree with you guys. I mean, it is definitely what it was. So it's fine. You know, it's a good way to showcase Matt Riddle. And if anything else, this could set Matt Riddle kind of to move him up the card. He was obviously over. You know, he has a good chant. He has a good look. You know, he's good enough in the ring. So we'll see what happens with him.
And probably we got to give a kudos to probably the funniest thing that happens in when you enter the ring. Kicks the flip flop, or I'm sorry, the sliders off, or whatever you want to call them. But all right, so the third match of the night was probably match of the night, maybe. Ricochet versus Johnny Gargano, and this one was from start to finish. We rewatched this because we wanted to see if it was as good. It was. Being there live, I think, made it even better. But overall, this was, well, definitely match of the year so far. But Aaron, I got to know what you really think about the match. What do you think that they should have added something, or was it just a perfect match?
I really enjoyed the match quite a bit. I think we all had high expectations, and I feel like they exceeded them. I felt that the storytelling in the ring, what Gargano was doing, was really great. To see what Ricochet was able to do was absolutely insane. You know, I know Doug is a huge fan of Ricochet and has seen a lot more matches than any of us have, and so he's used to some of this stuff. But there's probably things in there that he saw that was just mind blowing. And I think, Doug, this was probably the first Ricochet match you saw live too. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is the first match I've seen live.
And for you, like, what did you think? I mean, when you saw some of the moves, especially like in particular, the one for me that stood out was when Gargano did the Frankensteiner and Ricochet landed on his feet.
Just amazing. I mean, that guy is a cat. I mean, honestly, he is a cat. He constantly lands on his feet or can recover quickly from anything. And just the one thing that I noticed too is when they were doing a lot of the, who's in control and missing the kicks and the kicks ups and everything like that. Very, very essence of the Will Ospreay versus Ricochet match. That was probably one of my top 5 overall of any match. I love that match, and so to see them do that, it was kind of like, it was very, very interesting. I'd love to see him, bring that into the WWE a little bit more too. This isn't everybody's style of a match to love and everything like that, and I can understand that. But to me, this was high flying excitement. This is everything that athleticism is galore out of this. This is, you cannot do this. This is trick shots. This is everything that I wish I could do, or stuff that you see in comics or cartoon superheroes and everything like this. This was amazing of a match. Absolutely loved it. A little sad that Ricochet took the loss, but the storyline, everything was great. Whether Johnny Gargano was going to be saved in this match, and you kind of saw him struggle a little bit with whether or not he was going to put Ricochet into the concrete, but eventually he does with the brain buster, which, that was so hard to watch. And just there was just so much to that match. You can't just pinpoint one thing and say, well, that was the highlight of that match. No, there's this, there's that, there's this, there's that, and constantly just an amazing match.
Yeah, and there's one other thing for me too in particular was to see the evolution of Johnny in that match. To see like Ricochet had said, which Johnny are we getting? Something along those lines. And you got your answer. It was that, like you had mentioned with the concrete, didn't want to do it. He eventually did it. And then he wins the title. And it's this is maybe what the way I should be. And so that's the evolution of that character. And to see what has happened over the past 2 years with him has been great, because you guys saw DIY break up. You and Andy saw DIY break up. And so you got to see Johnny Gargano at his lowest, at his most vulnerable. And then to see him get this far, I imagine it was probably kind of an interesting change of events, right?
This has been a roller coaster of storytelling for Johnny Gargano, which has been absolutely amazing. The highs, the lows, the heel, the face, or what is he? Is he a true tweener, or what is he exactly? And I love this aspect too, their storytelling. This is amazing storytelling that you only get in NXT, and it's only going to be what can they do now, and I look forward to seeing what they do with Johnny Gargano with the title now, and who he's going to face, and what goes on from here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to say anything that Doug didn't already cover, but it's all thoughts that I agree with. It's very rare that you set your expectations pretty much to the max and then have them exceeded. And yet, I would say that Ricochet was better than I expected, and I expected phenomenal from him. Gargano was better than I recall, which is unbelievable considering I had him as my superstar of the year for last year. They had a match that I expected this could be the match of the year. This is by far the match of the year, and I'd argue if it was last year, this would be one of the matches I'd be debating on whether or not this was the match of 2018. This was an unbelievable high point, and Johnny Gargano apparently is not slowing down anytime soon.
No, and the other thing I noticed also in that match is that they did chain wrestling, they did some spots, but they didn't abuse like the spot fest. It was each spot did something like it was to this, to this, to this. It was a chain, and then they ended it. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to do this huge flip. Okay, you need to get up right away. I'm going to do this. So I thought that was interesting. Also, going to the crossface before he went to the Gargano stretch, I thought was really cool too.
Also loved the lack of finisher spam. They actually wrestled for the purpose of wrestling, not just 4 spears, not just 4 AAs. Every other one of the spots made sense. What a concept.
16 F5s, just because. But yeah, and then the next match that was on was Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair, which we also, I think we were kind of like almost crapping on this match to a certain extent, but I was actually shocked on just how everything worked out. And the match itself was really good. I think we might have talked about this before where they're going to set up the 4 horsewomen versus the 4 horsewomen, the UFC versus the WWE version. So overall, but I was happy with the match. I thought that it paced well. I don't like ref bumps. This happened, whatever. But what'd you think about it?
I thought the match was better than I anticipated, and this was the wink link in the car in the sense of when we talked about how good this show would be. It was basically this was the floor. If this match delivered, we were going to have an all-time classic. If this match stunk it up, maybe it was going to take out some of the momentum. It was a good match. Look, if you thought Shayna Baszler was losing, you don't watch wrestling. It was very obvious who was going to win. This was just about making Bianca look good. It's about making her look strong, proving that she belonged in the main event. They even set that up with a little pre-show angle where the guy talks about how she doesn't belong. Well, after this match, she most certainly belongs. She powered out of Shayna's finisher nearly twice. She looked really good. They used a ref bump and interference. Thought it was a fantastic match. I wouldn't even mind a rematch between these two. I think Bianca proved that she is one of the future of the women's division. Maybe she doesn't win it at TakeOver New York, but she's good. And Shayna, look, she's fantastic. I don't need anything to say anymore about her. She's one of the best they have, which she's come a long way. I did not enjoy her when she first started, and now she's a terrifying, terrifying woman, and that's great. Like, she is the bully that they wish Nia Jax could be because she is terrifying as a person.
So what does this do for Bianca Belair now? Because she's no longer...
Hey, you remember Bianca? She was wait. She got one loss. Wait.
I do have a weird question. What's the EST stand for? I just don't know what that means.
Well, obviously, it's no longer the greatest because there is the one loss for her now. And I kind of expected it to be better than... I guess most of our expectations, but at the same time, I thought it made Bianca look a little bit too strong. Just knowing what Shayna Baszler has done to other women in the wrestling ring, and to I would say higher class women in like Ember Moon, and
It took her a long.
It took her a while.
Talked about that.
Yeah, but at the same time, Ember Moon never tapped. She passed out, but she never got back up, let alone twice getting back up to her feet. I don't think.
The first time Ember does get back up in the first match in Philadelphia, because I think she beats her with like a crazy roll up or something. I could be wrong on that, but I remember thinking, like, why is an MMA specialist taking like a minute or two to put her away with a chokehold? Like, they've done this before where Shayna seems to struggle to put people away with her finisher.
I don't know. And it seemed like it took way too long. Like, if you are choking somebody out as an MMA fighter, those things don't last very, very long. It is within seconds that the person needs either tapping or the ref is calling it. For her to last, it was good, maybe solid 3 minutes. And then to do it again for another probably solid 5. takes away from the move a little bit, I think. But overall, it still did what it was supposed to. Belair looks good. Shayna still strong. And you still have her little lackeys come in and make an appearance. So
Yeah, and I agree with you, Doug. That was actually the issue I had because I turned over and I said to Roger, like, if they don't end this right now, it's going to look stupid. Like, and that was the issue because, like you said, when you're going for like 3 minutes or more, you know, you do it once, you make her look really strong. You try the second time, but she fails and she falls down. But then, like, they took a long time for that, and that was the issue. And so I 100% agree with you. It was an okay match, and it was a good cool down, especially after you see, you know, one of the best matches that you'll probably see all year. Then you see this because also, I mean, with the main event, obviously you have Ciampa and Black, which we all had high expectations for that too. And so you have to have something as the breather in between. You know, they didn't have to do that for TakeOver Dallas because there it was like just balls to the wall, and every match was essentially good. But for the most part,
there were still Aries Corbin.
Let's not pretend like that was that.
you take that one out.
Or we have already forgotten that one out.
like-
we just forget about it because I just don't remember that.
But that's the thing, right? Like, but you had some really good matches right in a row, right? So, but anyway, yeah. But Black, you know, Aleister Black versus Tommaso Ciampa, that especially to see the entrance live was really cool to see, and to see the match itself, the storytelling that they did in there was amazing. I know, Andy, you were really excited about it.
Oh yeah, I do like Aleister Black. I think his entrance is what really does it for me, and like just the like what's said in the song as well. Like I like that part of it as well. So it's just seeing him also rise like that is just so awesome. Too bad those aren't real candles, but whatever.
And for the match too, you know, what were your thoughts? Because
Going into the match,
yeah,
I thought the storytelling on the fact that he hurt his knee, I thought that was done real well, and he was able. And then, you know, Ciampa, give him credit though. He basically was able to tell him. I don't know if he told him to do it, but he explained, we'll do this, and then like when you go for the cover, I'll just roll a little bit so you can't pin me, which honestly was one of the funniest things that happened. But overall, you can see that he's definitely a psycho killer. But Aleister Black, I mean, I was very happy how it all ended, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Doug, did you enjoy the match as much as I did?
Yes, and this is the one things that I do love about wrestling is you can have a match with like Ricochet and Ciampa or Gargano where they're flipping all over and doing that kind of stuff, and then you can have a match like this. This was methodical. The taking out of the knee, the constantly working of the knee, the just storyline aspect of that too. Just going at it. I'm gonna make you hurt to even try to do your finisher, and take away from your finisher. I did also find it funny that Tommaso Ciampa also tears up the ring and goes to the cement block. And you can tell, right? I mean, this is just now them. I mean, if they're copycatting each other or just, I love it, and I hope that they point that out, that they are doing the same things that the other one is doing, or copying, or hey, I told you to do this, and working off of each other. Again, great storylining, long-term planning. These are words I don't think the main roster understand, but in NXT, this was an amazing match. It was excellent for what it was supposed to be and what it did. Is this the last time we see Aleister Black? I don't know, but if this is the last time in NXT, what a way to go out.
and one just real said about with you know, kind of the storytelling and how they have long term. It feels like with NXT, it is planned. Whereas with the main roster, there are times where it happens, you know, where you have long-term storytelling, but it almost feels like they backed into it, like on accident, you know? And this, it feels like they had planned this since NXT TakeOver Chicago. It felt like they had planned for this moment. And that's what's really great about it.
Yeah, this had a very Bret Hart feel. I think I said this to you at some point. Like, you know, yeah, Bret Hart just kind of, when he would pick apart a knee and really methodically kind of just tear his opponent apart. Look, I saw the finish coming a mile away. Obviously, you could tell that he was going to black mass him at some point or try to, and his leg would go out. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being predictable when it makes sense. If Gargano Ricochet was a 4-star match, this was, or a 5-star match, this was 4.5 stars. Still really good. not the greatest match I've ever seen in my life. This is the match we're going to be talking about coming away, but still a fantastic main event. Ciampa continues to excel as one of the main event guys. If this is Black's farewell, like Doug said, what a way to go out. I hope that he is used properly when he goes up to the main roster because he's got a ton of talent. I think he has a great gimmick and a great look. It's just a matter of he's not the biggest guy in the world.
Yeah, and that's what I'm fearful of too. But overall, TakeOver NXT TakeOver Phoenix was great. But we did something else actually earlier, believe it that, in the day. We decided to actually go to Access. And, Roger, I got to ask, what was your favorite part about Access? And maybe any surprises, any photos you might have taken with people?
My favorite part of the night was Adam Cole coming out because we were considering walking out. And at the moment we heard Shock the System. I think as
you stopped and turned right around and went.
Yep, full 180. Went right back to watch Adam Cole, baby. It was great. We had a good time. Biggest disappointment? Let's see.
What was it? Aaron getting his picture taken with Triple H?
No, that was one of the highlights. Seeing Aaron take his picture next to the cardboard cutout of one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time, is a true highlight. Unfortunately, I was in line waiting for a picture with Mickie James. And when I walked over there, it was the man that I will no longer say his name, and I will not speak about him as he is the worst WWE champion in history.
Let's
Singh
put it
brothers,
this
and
way.
they're cool. The Singh brothers are fine. They're good guys.
Let's just put it this way. We walked there, and I looked, and then I stopped. And then I looked at everyone else coming in.
Yeah, and I turned and I looked at Roger and I was like, "You're doing this. You are getting your picture taken. There's nothing that you are going to do. You will get your picture taken."
I also took my picture with Dana Brooke, which for those who've listened before, you know my thoughts on her. Though I will say, I prefer Dana Brooke much more to he who shall not be named.
Yeah, I got to give Roger all the credit on this one. He took 2 bullets this weekend in one day, and this is a good day for me.
Within 30 minutes too.
Right, good day for me in the aspect of I really didn't have any kind of disappointment. I mean, yes, I would rather also had Mickie James for a second time rather than Jinder Mahal. That's the person that Roger will not name. If because I've also noticed nobody else has named him. So
I wonder why.
I will not say his name 3 times because I really don't want him to appear.
He's right up against the glass and saying, "I'm here."
Although kind of funny with Jinder, when I walked up to him, I'm about 6'1", and I look at him. I was like, "Man, you are bigger than I thought." He's like, "What size is your TV at home?" I go, "That's 55." He goes, "You need a 72."
I got a 75, and I still know.
How come that's the best promo he's ever cut?
Yeah.
That's funnier than anything he's ever said on television, and the man had the championship for 7 months.
My highlight, though, is that Andy and I got to join hands with Kevin Owens in Hands Across America or Canada, whatever one you want. That was my highlight.
Well, and also, the Revival were there. We all got our pictures taken with them. And I actually told them, I said, "Hey, I just want to let you know, we saw you guys at WrestleMania weekend in Dallas, and you guys put on, a great show." He's like, "Oh, we always do."
I will say this. This is breaking news. Breaking news, because I ask the hard-hitting questions. I said, AEW? And he said, and this was direct quote from Dawson. I've never heard of them.
With a huge smile on their face.
Huge smile. Both of, and even Dash even kind of like looked over and said, "What did he say?" And he said AEW. He's like, "Oh," and smiled and laughed.
Also, what was your record in pick'ems today, Doug?
Oh yes, I got to finish off the day as your still pick'ems leader. I am the 2018 champion, and I have a commanding 5-0 lead to your 4-1, to Aaron's 4-1, and Andy's 3-2. But we're gonna have to backtrack that and see. We're gonna recheck the podcast to confirm.
Yeah, we're gonna check instant replay.
But potential commanding lead of 1.
Was it worth it to watch Ricochet lose?
No.
You'd rather be 4-1?
I would rather be 4-1 and have Ricochet still as the North American champion.
But then I would be 5-0.
All right,
so
it was worth it.
I was gonna say you'd have to follow me.
Then you would be basically playing the game better than all of us.
You would be.
And so Aaron, what was your highlight?
Oh, Roger getting his picture taken with Jinder Mahal was my highlight by far. No, and I actually have a really cool photo. Maybe we'll post it. So me and Dana Brooke. And she's like, you want to get your picture taken? And I told you to flex and you didn't. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to have to. And so I, put my muscles up while she did too. And so it's a really funny photo.
I will say, if you are listening, I am sorry that I passed by. I actually thought that these were going to be charged. Like, no matter how many pictures you took, you were going to be charged the $12. But that was just for the print. I didn't know that going in. So I just walked right past her. And I think she was a little offended, but.
Well, they were also moving too, so it wasn't that big of a deal that you walked by.
Right.
But yeah, Access though overall, I think I was really glad to go, and I think NXT was absolutely amazing too.
And yeah, that my favorite part was just getting the photos taken with the different wrestlers. I don't have one with Rude or Gable, of course, and Dana Brooke, she's short, and I guess I say that about a lot of people. She's short in some areas and bigger in the other. But yeah, I was kind of shocked about that. The one girl that we took,
Reina Gonzalez is not short.
No, she's billed at 6'1". She was right there with me, and I'm about 6'1.5". I'll just say 6'2", just like Doug does.
Rude shorter than I thought. I mean, I knew Gable was short, but I definitely was standing significant couple inches over Bobby Roode. Revival, didn't know they were that short. That was surprising.
But with them, though, I did find that whole AEW thing funny. And then we did the Too Sweet in there as well, which I found hilarious as well. So we had the tag champs on one side, yeah, them, and then Aaron and I on the other. So Roger and Doug are the No Mercy tag champs. We'll get into that some other time. But
I thought the matches also were really fun. Like it's a really nice experience.
What was the one match? It was with Tucky. Gosh,
it was Riddick Moss, I want to say,
yeah.
And then Heavy Machinery with their opponents, where they had 5 pinfalls.
Yeah.
Heavy Machinery also 5-0, just like me.
Gotta send in the man. But yeah, the matches were really good. That was tough to leave as well, just to watch the match. I mean, the only thing, Adam Cole, of course, we had to stay for, but then Dunn wrestled as well. And then he did the photo as well, that's one I'd want. And then he was letting people hold the belt too. He's like, here you go, here's the belt. It's like, son of a gun. We could have had Anderson and Gallows too, but oh well.
Toni Storm, I think we watched her wrestle.
Yeah, that's right. We saw her.
That was fun.
Yeah, but yeah. So overall, if you ever get a chance to check out Access, especially if they're doing the free photos, I mean, that's worth it. Just keep going through the line, take photos with people. That was really cool, and it was real fast too. It's like you did it. You said, "Hey, thank you, great match," and then it was on to the next station. So I'm very happy that WWE put that out there. So, but we're gonna be at Royal Rumble tomorrow. Or today, and we will be talking about it as soon as the show is over with and we get back to our home away from home. We are going to then talk about what happens at the Royal Rumble. But that's all the time we have for this show. If you're into the Twitter, you can follow the show at AllTheMark86. I want to thank 86 Productions for hosting and editing the podcast, and I want to thank all of our listeners for taking the time to download and listen to the show. And for Roger Cave, Doug Hahn, and Aaron Hughes, I am Andrew Hughes, and until next time, we'll see you in the ring.